Hi, this is Dave Blair coming to you from DaveBlairMusic.com. Go check it out. And today we're going to be demoing a little amplifier. No, this is not a guitar pedal. This is actually an amplifier, not just a preamp, but a full power amplifier, 5-watt amplifier. I have this going into a Bogner 1x12 with a Celestion Classic 80 speaker at 8 ohms. This has an output that could go from 4 to 16 ohms. And it has, bass, mid, and treble, a gain, and a volume, which are all very basic amp, obviously. These go for about $100 street price. For $100, you'd be like, well, it's a toy, right? Well, no, actually, I thought that until I actually listened to it. And I'm very, very particular about amplifiers. I don't like 90% of what I hear. And this is actually something that, if I didn't see it and just heard tracks recorded with it, I'd be like, hey, that's a good guitar sound. So I might even be using this for recording sessions, and I have access to lots of different high-end custom wired amps. I'm not ready to dump my 2-Rock Emerald Pro just yet. That is my main guitar amp of choice for the last 12 years or so. But I definitely could see using this for recording certain types of sounds. One thing great about these little amps, and they also make a plexi, and I know Orange has a little micro Terror that's like $150 or something as well. A lot of these little amps, they're simple, they're not too flexible, but they're inexpensive, and you could go, because modeling amps just never get it right, in my opinion. They might have a setting that's AC30, a setting that's Marshall, and it's like, cherry-flavored bubblegum versus eating real cherries. It's just not the same thing. You could know that, you could hear what it's supposed to trying to be, but it's not the real thing, and it's not something I would ever use for recording or live, personally, if you want to get a real guitar sound. And most of the time I swear by tubes, unless you're going for a clean sound, like a Roland Jazz chorus or something. In this case, this amplifier doesn't have any tubes, but it actually sounds really, really good. It's modeled after an AC30, a Vox AC30, so it has that tight mid-range sound. It breaks up quite nice. It stays clean. It's only 5 watts, so it doesn't have a ton of headroom. You're not going to be able to have a super clean sound in a band rehearsal with a drummer. If you crank it all the way up, you might be able to get away with a rehearsal with a drummer if he's not Keith Moon. But you only have that one crunchy sound, but it is quite usable. I'm just going through an SM57 into a Design Specifica preamp, going into right into an Apogee Rosetta 800. So no compression, no EQ, no effects, nothing I want you to hear what this amplifier sounds like, period. I'm playing an SG, I think this is a special, one of the lower end. These go for about $700. So you don't need to spend $3,000 on a guitar to get a great guitar sound. This actually, you'll hear, even with this little amp, sounds quite good. So I'm going to start with a clean sound. This is the volume all the way up, gain all the way down. I'll bring up the gain just a little bit so you get a little bit more volume. And the EQs are just at 12 o'clock. So we'll just do some funk clean, which, always should be super, super clean. No distortion whatsoever. So it stays pretty clean. So that's in the middle pickup position, which is the best for clean. If you want to warm it up a little bit on an SG, you could go to your neck position. Anyway, let's put that gain up. I'm going to keep the EQs in the center. Put the gain up about halfway. and go to a bridge position, see what we get. You get that crack, that really works with an SG. It's got the AC30, so that's definitely going to cut through in a mix in the recording studio or live. Although live you would have to mic it up to get the volume that you need. But that's really important in a guitar amplifier to be able to cut through without having to crank or do tons of EQ. And that's what's great about AC30s and SGs, and combined, they're just going to cut through in a mix without you having to do all sorts of weird things. And now let's try it the gain all the way up. I'm going to back the volume down just a little bit, just so I don't kill my ears. So the volume is about the same as it was when I just did it with the middle gain. So everything is blasting and the volume is backed off just a hair. Same bridge position. Let's keep it clean. I haven't even backed off the volume. I'm just going to hit it a little lighter. Killer sound, actually. I could definitely use that in the studio for doing some heavy hard rock. So there you have it with this amplifier. It is no joke. It really has some balls, if you want to, for lack of a better term. It actually has certain decent flexibility. At $100, I mean, it's a no-brainer. You could actually, if I was lost everything in a fire and I only had, whatever, a couple $100 to come up with a guitar rig, I could take this in a little speaker to a gig and mic it and get away with it. More than get away with it. You don't have a ton of flexibility and a ton of volume, but actually, if you're sitting right here, that cranked up volume was pretty loud. with a couple of pedals on it, you just wouldn't have any clean. Actually, even when I backed it off, though, the gain was all the way up, and when I just played lighter, it actually backed off quite nicely, which is a sign of a good quality amp. You don't want to get fuzzed out or compressed out, or over where every weight, no matter how you hit the string, it sounds the same. That to me is a poor amp. I think for better quality players that play with nuance, and that's really the thing that really catches people's ears is the nuance. That's what sets apart, a Mark Knopfler or a Dickie Betts or whatever from or even an Angus Young from just some guy in a club. It's sometimes they hit the note hard and angry, and other times it's soft and pretty, and it's all in the fingers. And you need an amp that's gonna be able to be that voice, and an amp that just everything sounds the same no matter what. You don't. It's just notes, and then what makes you any different than any other guitar player playing those notes? Nothing. So that's the British Invasion amp. I picked this up at Pastori Music in Union City, New Jersey, for $99. You can't really go wrong if you don't like it, which I can't imagine you wouldn't. You could always sell it on eBay for for whatever, $80. It's definitely worth trying. It's the size of a pedal. It's even good, in a pinch, throw it in your glove compartment as a backup amp in case one of your tubes blows on your boogie or two-rock or whatever. I've had it happen. It happens, and you don't want to have to carry a whole amp head in your car. In a pinch, it'll do the job quite nicely. Any questions? Just feel free to email me at dave@daveblairmusic.com. Facebook me. Everything is on the website, daveblairmusic.com. There's my Facebook, Twitter. You subscribe to the YouTube because I'm going to keep putting up more videos, trying to do extensive demos of different pieces of equipment. Acoustic and electric amps, the recording gear, everything. And what is important, I think, the way I'm doing this is that I'm actually recording this with the 57 through a preamp. It's not just it's some crappy video camera sound, which you can't really hear. This is what it actually sounds like. It's a mic, and I didn't really do a ton of mic placement. I just kind of threw the 57 in front of it. So you know what this amp actually really sounds like. I'm not doing any type of fancy anything, nothing. Except for the fact that I have a high quality front end, and you could hear by the quality of the sound, that's everything. A right mic, and these mics, SM57s, are about $80. Placed in the right spot, going through a good preamp, going through a good DA converter. Yeah, that's going to cost some money, but once you have that, you really don't need to do much else. Just have a good ear and do some EQing when you're actually mixing down a record.